Hi everyone, this is Larilyn. Welcome back to the channel. Today I will be working on another maxi dress, a maxi tiered dress. I do have a design, a black and white design on the website, on the YouTube channel, and of course on other social media channels too that I worked on a few weeks ago, and I'm back at it. So this is going to be one of my go-to favorites for the spring and the summer. So who doesn't love a good tiered maxi dress? So follow me over to the cutting table and I'll show you the fabric and the pattern. So here I have my self-drafted pattern. I have all the pieces cut out here. So I have the front, the back, I have the tiered pieces here, and I have all of the peplum pieces back over here. We're gonna try to get 3 tiers in, but you know, I'm only 5'3", so sometimes you can only get away with a couple of tiers depending on your height and depending on the width that you've cut them. So I think I have the width on the first tier. I think all of them are about 10 inches, maybe 10 and a half. And then each tier, of course, is pretty wide because if I gather it, you know, to my waist size to fit into the actual skirt portions. So watch me as I put this one together, and it's pretty detailed on the first video. I think it's a black and white one on my Cabo trip. That one's probably a little bit more in detail than this one, but same exact pattern, just adjusted the gathering to make it just a little fuller on the skirt pieces for these. So watch me as I sew this up. If you're brand new, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that like button and the bell notification so that you get all of the sewing, pattern making, and embroidery things that I work on during my sewing journey. All right, watch me sew as I go. Okay, so according to the pattern, I have one bust dart here. I like to make the markings from the center point down to both of my notches that I have marked here. So once I've marked those, I'm going to sew up both of the bust darts, and then I'm going to sew the shoulders together to the front and the back. I will be leaving the back open because there'll be a center zipper there. So finishing up my darts, sewing those at the machine, sewing up the shoulders, and then leaving the back open. Okay, so here I have my dart. You can see the dart point. Here is the tip, and I have my 2 notches pulled together and pinned. So I'm gonna start sewing from the tip of the notch all the way down to that dart point. That's how a dart is sewn. Make sure those notches are properly lined up together. I'm just going to bring my needle down to hold that position where I want to start. And on this machine, it gives me the opportunity, if you haven't seen this on the channel before, to basically go to the screen that Creative Consultant is what it's called. And you have the option to choose between woven fabrics, knit fabrics. Again, you have, you know, fur, you have a pocket, just various different things. So this is really a lightweight woven. So I'm just going to go to the middle, and I'm sewing a straight stitch. So I'm going to pick the straight stitch that's here and just hit the OK. It tells me which needle to use. It's a size 80 and polyester thread. And this is the presser foot, you know, typical C foot for this machine. And that also tells me the type of stitch. So it just kind of gives you a good idea that it balances the tension automatically for you, as well as, you know, the pressure, and telling you the best needle to choose if you're not aware. So once that's done, the pressure's been chosen for me. Here, of course, the let's see, the stitch length, it's changed to 2.70, and again the stitch is there, the straight stitch. So what I'm gonna do is just start here at the edge, and I'm gonna stitch. Looks like my needle, oh, my thread came out. Thread came out here. All right, so we're gonna continue stitching in the straight line all the way to the edge of the point, and I just stitch off. And here I like to lift the presser foot and just cut my thread long for the dart. And once that's done, basically your dart, the bust dart, kind of looks like that. So that's your shoulder piece, and that's the bust dart. okay? And on the inside, I like to just take all of that excess, which is your dart intake here, just kind of press it nice and flat with a warm iron. Of course, read the instructions on your iron, instructions on your fabric. I typically like to use a pressing cloth for something that's nice and soft. This is a chiffon fabric. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm going to sew the shoulders together. Okay, so I have the top portion of the bodice of the tiered maxi dress sewn up, and I guess as you can see here, I have the shoulder seams sewn, I have the bust darts sewn, as well as the side seams here. The back is going to be a zipper, so I left, you know, the back open for the zipper, but I think it's looking cute. I'm definitely pleased with it. I just went ahead and finished the armhole with a bias, you know, just a bias tape finishing there all around. So everything looks good. So I'm going to move on to sewing up the first part of the skirt that's going to attach to the waist here, and then start working on the second tiers and the peplums that's going to go around it. But I am really liking it. It could actually be a little tank top. If I was going to make this into a tank top, I'd probably keep the pattern and just probably extend it down maybe 3 inches or so, maybe 4 inches or so, kind of high hip. But definitely it's looking good, so keep watching. Okay, so moving on to the skirt portions, that's going to be kind of like the under layer. I have the front that's cut on the fold, and I have the back cut in 2 pieces. I'm going to sew these at the side seams. So meet me at the sewing machine. Okay, so moving on to the first tier, and all of this is just pinned and basted. I gathered everything to the waistline, you know, of the bodice bottom here, and I have the first portion of the skirt, which serves as the lining underneath, and according to that top border of that skirt piece is where I've kind of gathered all of that in. So I'm gonna probably try to get 2 more layers in, but again, it really depends on your height. But so far, so good. And then in the back, everything is just left open, of course, because that's where the zipper is going to be for now. Okay, keep watching. I'm going to do the same thing for the second layer and same thing for the third layer, if I can get that third layer in. For those of you that are new, please hit that like button, comment on some of my sewing projects, some things you'd like to see in the future. Any comments about this project as well, appreciate it. I do have another dress similar to this, same pattern with a little adjustments on the channel, so make sure you go back and look at that. It's a little bit more detailed for you. Okay, so I'm just building layer by layer. Doesn't look really pretty as it's hanging, but you know, just looks a little wider. But once I put in that last layer, the third tier, I'll just try to refit on the dress form. But that's what it looks like so far. It really depends on how wide your tiers are going to be from here to here to really determine, you know, how many layers you can get in, of course, based on your height as well. But again, the back is going to be left open for a zipper here, and I'm just going to keep working on getting that third tier layer in. That's pretty much it. Okay, so once everything has been put together as tiers, I did make some changes based on my height. I could get 2 full tiers in. The third tier I removed. If you remember, there was like a peplum tier here. I just didn't like the way that it looked on this dress. I knew something was missing on the black and white style that I did, and looking at it this way, I like the nice fitted silhouette around the hips here as it kind of hugs the hips, and then you get the nice flared detail at the bottom. The peplum just kind of took away from that, but I do like the look of the added sash, so I'm just working on that. Nothing's really sewn yet, but you can kind of see it's connected here, you know, still at the waist. So technically you could wear it, you know, without the sash, but I think the sash just kind of gives it just a cute little detail to it. So I think I'm gonna keep the sash and sew that up as a belt. Looking at it from the back, let me turn it around here. I think it's really cute, guys. It's really cute. So I like the little asymmetric detail here where I have, and this was purposely done, I did, you know, kind of match more of the floral print here, and down at the bottom I just want it kind of sparsely here, you know, sparsely there, a little bit plain there, and then, you know, the little details of the leaves is just kind of all throughout the print. So just really gotta put my final stitches in. Everything's kind of basic for the most part with the different tiers. Sew up the belt, put in the zipper, and it's done. But I think, again, based on my height being 5'3", 2 tiers is probably the max that I could get away with based on the 10-inch width of each of those tiered sections. So depending on how long you've got the tiers will also determine how long, you know, the dress is going to be. So in my case with that, I'm maxed out at about 2 tiers, unless I were 6 feet or one of those 5'8" girls, of which I'm not. But it's giving cute, and I'm really pleased. So I'll show you guys the final result once everything is finally sewn, belt's done, zippers in. Thanks for watching. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and consider becoming a subscriber. It's totally free, helps to grow these small channels when you comment and you share as well. Thanks again, guys. Okay, so this is the Fire Red, or Lady in Red, 3-tiered maxi dress. This was a really fun sew. Again, this was from my own pattern. I'm still working on, you know, digitizing and grading these patterns, so bear with me. And thanks again for watching. For those of you that are new, consider hitting that like button, sharing, and becoming a member. I do try to post weekly. Sometimes it's a little longer. So if you found this video helpful in any way or useful, again, hit that like button. Bye.